Hey y'all, welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. Welcome to our new patio setup. I just want to do a collective convo quick. I don't have any cards. I'm just thinking a lot about grief, and the way that we're having to grieve at a collective level right now on like all these different levels. And I've talked about grief over here a couple times before on this playlist. But I think what I want to talk about is how to put action behind your grief. So like the reason that this came up for me today is because I set up Niles. We've got this like water park thing. I don't know. It's a bunch of PVC pipes that like spread water and whatnot. And I finally fucking set it up today. I've been working on finding all the pieces for the past couple weeks. And he was having so much fun. And as he was playing and like enjoying his time, I was sitting there thinking like, what if this is the last summer that we have this, right? The water, access to water. And even for me saying that, that's very selfish because there's people all over the planet that don't have that, right? And that's why it's like this reality check of like, I think there's a really fine line between not, as Americans, we don't think that we're affected by this stuff, right? When there's people in our own country, like Flint, Michigan, and other places like on the res, all of the different reses on the like in the country, right, that don't have access to running water, clean water, things like that. The people who were just impacted by those hurricanes, or folks who have been impacted by fires and everything. It's like it's a very harsh and real reality that people are losing rights, like like human rights, right? Like access to water. Like people in Skid Row don't have access to water either. And I feel like there's this aspect of grief because as a collective, we all feel what others are going through, regardless of if we acknowledge that or not. There's this collective energy that we all are a part of, right? And when we think about having empathy, or we think about the reality of like what people are experiencing, I know I personally experience grief. Um, you know, I want to enjoy what we have at this time, but I also feel selfish for having those things sometimes. And I think that there's a really, I think that there's a praxis piece to this, and that is action. So, like, when we're feeling gratitude and grief simultaneously, right? Like, I'm grateful that my son gets to play, and watching him play makes me feel so much grief and sorrow for the kids who are not able to do so, regardless of where they are in the world or what they're experiencing. Um, and I want to put this here because I think it's something that a lot of people just avoid or turn a blind eye to or ignore. Hang on, I gotta do something quick. And instead of, I think people have a hard time sitting with, why does that look like we're moving? Sitting with two truths that are contradictory. And like I said, I feel like there's an action piece that can be taken there. Um, I don't know. I'm not an expert at this, but I'm just talking about the feelings. So if you're feeling, excuse me, I'm drinking beer. Yes, I'm uploading my videos right now. I have to do them at a certain time. I'm fucking with the algorithm. I feel like if we have, what is it? Spirit Speaks. If we have the ability to, like, if you have an abundance of any sort, I think that's a good place to start. Woodstock, can you chill? Sharing abundance, redistributing wealth. I think acknowledging that these truths are also real. We did both the collective coffee and the collective reading for today. We're very much talking about white privilege in different ways, in the ways within white supremacy, what that looks like when there's action pieces around it, and the ways in which white supremacy is shaping our future, for this dystopian nightmare, right? There's a reason these motherfuckers are doing this, um, and whatnot. And all of that to say is, so many people with privilege don't participate in collective anything. They don't see a resonance with other people's struggles because they themselves have always lived a privileged life. I come from one of these families. Um, Anytime I would try to share information about, I'm not sharing this to be like a victim, I'm over it, I understand, but I'm sharing it because I feel like a lot of people are probably experiencing this. I saw another woman come on TikTok and be like, what percentage of your friend circle is just pretending like everything's okay? So like when people aren't impacted by something, there's definitely a tendency to just not give a fuck, to not pay attention, to not even inform themselves. And that's the American way, quite frankly. That's the ways in which people have been conditioned within this society. I almost said culture, but it's not cultural. It's systemic oppression. And so anyway, today I was holding a lot of gratitude for us being able, for Niall having fun, right? Like, it's a beautiful day. We had water. And while he was playing with that, I also held grief, and acknowledged that while this is my current reality, there are millions of children around the world who wish this could be their current reality. And I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it, but the action piece of like, when and if you're ever able to make someone's life easier or better, if you get into a position of power, if you come into abundance or wealth, if you come across someone who needs something, I guess that's all I can say is like, please do it. You know, the world continues to go around as we experience atrocities and massacres, and it's a really harsh reality. And you know, the cognitive dissonance is that a lot of people don't pay attention unless it's in their face, especially Americans. And I understand also, you know, the system has done everything they can to ensure that people are distracted just enough so that they don't pay attention, so that they turn a blind eye. But you know, right now in this world, we are in these times of I don't feel like anyone should be doing that right now. And I know plenty of people are, and not all of them are white people. You know, there's plenty of other privileges across the board. But within white supremacy, you know, even if you're poor and you're white, you still have privilege, right? That's that. But, you know, outside the United States too, it's just, I don't know. I feel like we can do better. I feel like we can make the world go around better. And I think we can all kind of reflect, right? And take that inventory of like holding gratitude and grief at the same time. I don't know. I just felt called to share because it's really heavy on my heart today. Again, I'm so glad my son got to play in the water. He had a great time today. He had so much fun. But there's this voice or feeling or both within me that's like, when is it going to be our turn? How much longer are we going to be able to enjoy this? Not in a selfish way of like, you know, it's not like, what's that game where you pull on the rope? What is that called? What is this called? There's a team over there, and then, what is that called? I don't know what that's called. I can't think of the word. Push and pull, but there's a word for the game. Hang on, that's gonna bug me. The fuck is this word? Oh, it was almost in my head. Um, I'm sorry for whoever's over there screaming it at me right now. I'll figure it out. Hang on. Rope grabbing game. What is that called? What is this game called? Tug of war. Tug of war. Okay. Sorry. It's not like a tug of war. And that's what the systems of oppression want us to do. They want us to be competing against each other, right? I've seen a lot of people, I think there's this collective shift right now. There's several collective shifts happening. And we've talked about that in a lot of the readings. But I think the one that's happening right this moment is that white folks are starting to recognize their own oppression. And within that, how their privileges can serve the greater good, which is great. I didn't think we'd actually get to this point, honestly, but I've seen a lot, and I think we're there. And the more conversations those white people have with their white friends, I tried for a really long time. What are you listening to? I hate the flies. I hate bugs. I fucking don't like summer because of the bugs. But anyway, do I look like I have jaundice? I think it's the sun. The sun is coming in a weird way. But anyway, two things can be true at the same time. Multiple things can be true at the same time. And we can also have reflection of those things. And I think the more gratitude we share for the things that we still have access to, whether it's time, resources, experiences, privileges, I feel like we just need to be a little more cognizant as a collective. I'm not calling anyone out, but I'm just saying I feel like we're in these times of getting back to community, and that takes the ability to share. And when we are facing these hard times, I think that's one thing that be careful with that tablet. Oh, you got a sunburn. Not really a burn. Did it die? Do we need to charge it? Hang on. Mama duties. Why are you asking me for help? How is there low storage? You only have 2 games downloaded right now. This tablet is a piece of crap. Hello. Look at this big boy. We got a haircut last week. We're half naked because we were playing in the water. It's downloading now. I don't remember what I was saying. I think I've talked enough. I'm gonna let you go. Why did I have to download or delete everything? Also, you're at 11%. It's gonna die soon. That's gonna be a tantrum. When it dies, you can take your bath. Alright? So mommy's just talking about how I was watching you play and how I'm happy that you have water. But also there's a lot of people who don't. Why do I look orange? Okay, I'm gonna let you go. Do not go in the house, you crazy fuckers. Alright, talking to the dogs. Have a good one.